You finally decided to open a new credit card, but you're afraid you might get denied. Fret not, as today, in just 3 easy steps, you'll get approved for any card. Welcome back to CreditWise, and today, we're going to talk about how you can get approved for any credit card application. And at the end of the video, we will also talk about being denied and how you can reverse it. Yes, you heard me. Reverse it. Step 1. Determine. It would only make sense to determine where you stand and what you want. Think of it as a job application. You scour your resources to find a job that suits you. You would always do your research to find your strengths and weaknesses. You would prepare your answers to any possible questions for an interview. You set yourself up for the job. People don't just get approved for some premium platinum credit card, especially with just some months of credit history. People don't get a travel credit card just to sit at home and use the card to order stuff online. You need to know what you're applying for. You need to determine what card to get to best match your purpose of getting it. A credit card application is like a job application. You need to know where you stand. Write down things like your credit score, your current income, how many credit cards you've opened in the past 6 to 12 months, and how many credit cards you have in total with each issuer. What are your credit limits on these cards, and how much of that credit are you using? What is your credit utilization like? You can actually easily find this information from Credit Karma, or you can pull your annual report on annualcreditreport.com. This will give you an accurate picture of what you look like to credit card companies. By doing so, you'll be able to determine any red flags that lenders might see in your application so that you can either address and fix those things first, or you'll be prepared to explain yourself to the credit card company if some things are questioned. Now that you determined where you are, determine what you want. Are you looking to build credits or to get started with a basic credit card? Are you looking to maximize your credit card earnings from different spendings or travel benefits? You need to determine which credit cards are available that will not only fit your needs, but will also be within your reach if you want to be approved. Additionally, you should research any fixed policies that credit card companies may have. There can be rules for each credit card company that are going to be really tough, or sometimes impossible to get around. So identifying these rules and being aware of them in the application process is the easiest way to avoid an instant denial right from the start. For example, the Chase 524 rule, which states that you would automatically be refused a new Chase credit card if you have opened 5 or more personal credit card accounts with any issuer in the previous 24 months. Sometimes if you're denied a credit card, depending on the reason for the denial, there might be ways to get that reversed, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. Step 2. Develop. After completing Step 1 and learning as much as we could about our credit histories and other factors that would be crucial to know during the credit card application process, we can go on to Step 2, which will be to develop your credit. Each person's version of this phase will be slightly different, but it's where we can begin to lay out our goals for using credit cards, so that we may begin to work toward them. If you're a beginner who is building credit and you hear some great things about a particular premium travel credit card that you want, you probably have low approval odds right now. Instead of just hoping for the best by applying then getting denied, you could just apply for another beginner credit card or two, then use those responsibly over the next year or so to build up a strong foundation. After that, you can return to Step 1 and determine where you stand once more, and chances are, you'll have a much higher chance of being accepted. You have to be patient about these types of things. This tactic has had great success. If you're more knowledgeable and experienced with credit cards, Step 2 of optimizing will look very different because you might be able to get approved for additional cards after laying the groundwork over some years. Your income is also a crucial component to consider over time when applying for credit cards. Aside from aspects that are relevant to your credit score or credit history, banks are hesitant to provide you too much credits if your income is insufficient. A lower income can make it harder to get authorized for specific credit cards or to receive greater credit limits. Step 3. Apply. After determining all of that information in Step 1 and developing our financial situations in Step 2 to give ourselves the best chance of being approved right away, the third step will be to submit your application. Here, we're merely gathering the required information and submitting our credit card application to see if we're immediately approved or denied. As an alternative, we might get a message saying that the review of our application will take a few more days. Instant approval is splendid, but you should be aware of your credit limit so that you can keep your credit utilization low. You should make payments on time and in full each month. You should keep track of any minimum spending requirements that you may need to qualify for a sign-up bonus for a new credit card. Typically, you must meet these requirements within the first 3 to 6 months. The typical advice is just to sit back and wait to see if the computer will automatically accept you after having a closer look at your application. If it indicates that your application needs to be further evaluated, they'll let you know of their decision in a few days. If it is taking too long, just call to follow up on your application. If it feels like it's going to result in a denial, you may want to call the reconsideration line. If your application ends up getting denied, it may not be the end just yet. For those who don't know, if you apply for a credit card and are denied, you frequently receive a letter explaining your situation and occasionally a phone number you can call to request a reconsideration. If no number is provided, you can contact the regular customer care line for the credit card business and request to have your credit card application reconsidered. You may want to call this reconsideration number as soon as possible because you are usually given 30 days to try and get the decision revoked. After then, you'll need to fill out another application and deal with yet another hard inquiry. The reconsideration line is highly recommended if you've been denied a credit card, especially if you believe you should have been approved based on the data you've determined and then developed in steps 1 and 2. You have nothing to lose and the worst they can say is no, but at least you can speak with someone who might give you a better reason why you were denied, and then you can go back to step 2 and redevelop. It'll be more difficult to get a denial overturned if you were turned down because of the credit card company's policies. But if you were turned down because of a reason that you can clearly explain on your credit report, you might be able to convince them otherwise. One reason for this could be that the company issuing your credit card has already given you too much credit on other credit cards you have with them. However, what you may do is to simply ask them to transfer some credit from another credit card to this new one, and in many cases, they'll be able to do that, from one card with a $10,000 limit to 2 cards with a $5,000 limit. There are a few suggestions that I believe everyone should bear in mind while calling the reconsideration line, to give themselves the best chance of having their denials changed into approvals. First and foremost, you need to be friendly because the person you're speaking to on the other end of the phone has authority to grant you the desired credit card. They want to accept you since then you can use their card and perhaps earn money for them. So there's no reason to be upset if they deny you. Mistakes do happen. If you have positive aspects of your credit history, such as a track record of timely payments and prudent credit usage, you could also wish to discuss these. You might also explain why you desire that particular credit card and how its characteristics are ideal for your spending habits. It's also a pretty smart idea to mention how this card works for you considerably better than certain comparable cards from rival credit card companies. It can be beneficial, especially if you're an existing client with a solid history of credit card usage. Most people never try this way. Some people just accept the denial and let it happen. In the end, some reasons for denials will make it easier to get that decision reversed than others. But spending a few minutes on the phone is worth the effort to try to at least get approved. Once again, determine where you are and what you want. Develop your credit situation. Apply. If denied, call the reconsideration line. That's it today from CreditWise, and if you like what you see, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Leave any questions on the comment section and we'll try to answer them on the next video.